Who was Buddha? More than 2,500 years ago, a man named Siddhartha Gautama walked away from luxury and power in search of something far greater, truth. Today, he's known as the Buddha, the Awakened One, a spiritual teacher whose insights reshaped the way millions think about life, suffering, and inner peace. But what did the Buddha teach that makes him so important even now? At the heart of his wisdom are simple, yet profound truths. Life is full of suffering, but suffering has a cause. And if there's a cause, there's also a way to end it. This became the foundation of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, a guide not to worship, but to awaken. Buddha didn't claim to be a god. He never asked to be blindly followed. Instead, he invited people to look within, to understand their mind, to live with compassion, and to walk a path of balance. This story is more than history. It's a mirror for every person who has ever asked, is there more to life than this? Welcome to the journey of a man who dared to seek, and in doing so, found enlightenment. Chapter 1. The Birth of Siddhartha. A prince is born. A long time ago, in a small village of Lumbini, a baby was born who would one day change the world. His name was Siddhartha. His birth was not ordinary. People believed it was special. Wise men told his father, the king, that this child would grow up to be either a powerful ruler or a great spiritual teacher. The king didn't want his son to leave the royal life, so he made a plan. He would keep the boy surrounded by beauty, joy, and comfort, so he would never feel the need to look for anything beyond the palace walls. Siddhartha grew up in the middle of wealth and luxury. He had everything a prince could ask for: palaces to live in, music to enjoy, gardens to walk in, and people to serve him at every moment. He wore the finest clothes, ate the best food, and was protected from anything sad or painful. Later, he married a kind and beautiful princess named Yasodhara. They had a baby boy and named him Rahula. To everyone around him, Siddhartha's life looked perfect. But deep inside, he started to feel something strange. Even with all the joy around him, he felt a sense of emptiness. It was like something was missing, but he couldn't explain what. He began to wonder if there was more to life than just comfort and pleasure. A quiet voice inside him was beginning to ask questions. And soon, life would begin to answer. Chapter 2. Life in the Palace, Surrounded by Luxury. Siddhartha's life in the palace was like a dream. Everything was designed to make him happy. There were dancers, music, games, and delicious food. His father made sure that nothing unpleasant ever came near him. If someone looked sick or old, they were kept away. If a flower began to wilt, it was quickly removed. The king believed that if Siddhartha never saw suffering, he would never leave the palace or question the world around him. As Siddhartha grew older, he became more thoughtful. He started to wonder about the world outside. He was curious. He wanted to see how ordinary people lived. So, he asked his father to let him visit the city. The king agreed but made sure everything was cleaned and prepared before the visit. The streets were swept, and anyone who looked sad, sick, or poor was hidden from view. But during the trip, something unexpected happened. Siddhartha saw an old man walking slowly, his back bent, his hair white. He asked, "What is wrong with that man?" The charioteer explained, "He is old. Everyone becomes like that with time." Siddhartha was shocked. He had never seen old age before. Soon after, he saw a man coughing and lying in pain. The charioteer said, "He is sick. This happens to many people." Then Siddhartha saw a lifeless body being carried through the streets. "Is he asleep?" he asked. The charioteer replied softly, "No, he is dead. One day, everyone must die." Siddhartha was silent. His heart was heavy. These things were new to him, and they stirred something deep inside. He saw one more person, a monk, walking peacefully, wearing simple robes and carrying nothing but a bowl. The monk looked calm and free. Siddhartha asked, "Who is he?" The charioteer replied, "He is a seeker, someone who has left everything to search for truth." Siddhartha returned to the palace, but nothing felt the same. The sights he had seen would not leave his mind. Chapter 3. The Four Sights, A Glimpse of Suffering. That visit to the city changed Siddhartha forever. He could not stop thinking about the old man, the sick man, the dead man, and the peaceful monk. These four sights stayed in his mind, day and night. Before that day, He had never known that life could be so full of pain. He had lived in a world of beauty and joy, but now he knew the truth. Life also brings suffering. He realized that no matter how rich or powerful a person is, they cannot escape aging, illness, or death. These things come to everyone. He looked at his own life, at the palace, at his family, and began to understand that even they would face the same fate. He felt a deep sadness, but also a strong desire to find answers. He began to ask himself questions. Why do we suffer? Is there a way to stop it? What is the purpose of life if it ends in pain? The answers were not in books, not in the palace, and not in the comfort he had always known. He needed to go beyond what he had been taught. One quiet night, while the palace was asleep, Siddhartha made a decision. He kissed his wife and son goodbye. Then he walked away from his life as a prince. He left behind everything, his crown, his comfort, his name, to search for something deeper. He didn't know where the path would lead, but he knew he had to walk it. This was not the end of his story. It was the true beginning. Chapter 4. The Great Renunciation, Leaving the Palace Behind. Siddhartha had seen the truth of life, and he could not unsee it. The sights of old age, sickness, and death kept returning to his mind. He no longer felt at peace in the palace. His heart was restless. He loved his wife, his newborn son, his family, but the call to seek the truth was louder than his comfort. He realized that no amount of luxury could protect him from the pain that touched every human being. There had to be a way to rise above it. One night, while the palace was quiet and everyone was asleep, Siddhartha stood by his sleeping wife and son. He looked at them with deep love, but also with a sense of urgency. He wanted to hold them, but he knew that staying would only delay what he had to do. He whispered a silent goodbye, turned away, and walked into the night. He left behind his royal robes, his jewelry, and his princely identity. At the edge of the forest, he met his loyal charioteer and gave him his ornaments. He cut his long hair with a sword, removed his fine clothing, and put on a simple robe. At that moment, the prince was gone. In his place stood a seeker, a man who had given up everything to find what truly matters. Siddhartha walked alone, with no plan but a clear goal, to understand why humans suffer and how they can be free. He didn't leave out of sadness or anger. He left with a calm and steady heart, knowing that the truth was out there, waiting to be found. And he would not stop until he found it. Chapter 5. The Journey of the Seeker, Learning and Wandering. Now free from palace life, Siddhartha began his journey across forests, rivers, and villages. He walked barefoot, with only a begging bowl and his thoughts. He was no longer Prince Siddhartha. He had no title, no riches, only questions. But he was full of determination. He wanted to discover the truth about life, pain, and the path to inner peace. He met many teachers along the way. Some taught him how to control his breath and calm his mind. Others showed him how to meditate deeply and forget the outside world. He listened carefully and practiced everything they taught. In time, he became a master of their methods. Yet, something felt missing. The techniques were powerful, but they didn't bring the complete freedom he was looking for. His mind was quieter, yes, but he still had not found the end of suffering. So he moved on, always searching, always learning. Eventually, he found a group of 5 ascetics, men who believed that the way to enlightenment was to punish the body. They fasted for days, denied themselves comfort, and lived with almost nothing. Siddhartha joined them. He thought, maybe if I go beyond the body, I'll free the soul. He ate less and less until he was surviving on a single grain of rice a day. His body became weak, his bones stuck out, and he could hardly walk. People who saw him thought he was close to death. But still, the truth he was seeking had not come. It was then that he began to question this extreme path. He realized that hurting the body did not bring clarity. It only brought more suffering. Siddhartha understood that neither luxury nor torture was the answer. There had to be another way. Chapter 6. Embracing the Middle Way, a New Realization. After years of pushing his body to the edge, Siddhartha sat near a river, exhausted and close to fainting. A young village girl named Sujata saw him and gently offered a bowl of rice and milk. At first, he hesitated, but something within him accepted. As he ate, strength returned to his body, and with it came a deep insight. He realized that starving himself had not led to peace. It had only weakened him. And living in luxury back in the palace had only distracted him. True wisdom, he now understood, doesn't come from going to extremes. It comes from balance. He called this understanding the middle way, a path between too much and too little, between indulgence and self-denial. With a new sense of clarity, he walked to a quiet spot in Bodh Gaya, under a large fig tree, which would later be called the Bodhi tree. He sat down on the ground, crossed his legs, and made a powerful vow. He said to himself, "I will not get up from this spot until I discover the truth." His mind was calm, his body was still, and his heart was ready. This was not just another meditation. This was the final step of a long journey. Everything he had experienced, joy, sorrow, comfort, pain, all had brought him here. And now, he was ready to face his deepest fears, his biggest doubts, and the powerful forces that would try to stop him from awakening. Siddhartha had found the middle way. And now, he was ready to walk it to the end. Chapter 7. The Battle Within. Siddhartha faces his inner demons. Siddhartha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his eyes closed, his body still, and his mind focused. The night was calm, but inside, a great storm was rising. He had made a promise. He would not move until he found the truth. That powerful decision sent a message to the universe. And something answered. Suddenly, dark clouds formed in his mind. These were not clouds in the sky, but in his thoughts. They were fears, temptations, and doubts, everything that tries to break a person's spirit. The legends say that Mara, the Lord of Illusion, came to stop Siddhartha. Mara didn't come with weapons. He came with fear, desire, pride, and anger. He sent terrifying visions to scare him. He sent beautiful images to distract him. He even tried to make Siddhartha doubt himself. But Siddhartha didn't move. He saw the fear and let it pass. He saw the temptations and let them go. Every emotion rose and fell, but he remained calm like a deep river. He remembered every lesson he had learned, every truth he had touched along his journey. And he sat, strong and unshaken, rooted like the tree above him. Then, in a final act, Mara challenged him by saying, "Who do you think you are to seek truth? What right do you have?" In silence, Siddhartha reached out his hand and touched the earth. This simple gesture meant, "The earth is my witness." And with that, the battle ended. Mara disappeared. The darkness faded. And something deep inside Siddhartha began to shine. Chapter 8. The Moment of Enlightenment. Becoming the Buddha. As the night slowly turned to dawn, something extraordinary happened. Siddhartha, who had searched for truth across forests, rivers, and years, finally found what he was looking for. In the stillness beneath the Bodhi tree, his mind opened like a lotus in the morning sun. He saw the world clearly, not through fear, not through desire, but as it truly is. He saw the cycle of birth, suffering, and death. He saw how all things are connected. He understood that suffering comes from desire, from wanting things to be different than they are. And he realized that when desire fades, peace begins. He discovered the path to that peace. Right understanding, right actions, right effort, and more. This path would later be called the Noble Eightfold Path. With this deep awakening, Siddhartha was no longer just a seeker. He had become the Buddha, which means the awakened one. He had reached nirvana, not a place, but a state of perfect peace, beyond fear and beyond sorrow. But he didn't feel proud. He felt love. Deep love for all living beings, knowing that they, too, suffer and search for peace. He didn't want to keep this wisdom for himself. He wanted to share it, to help others wake up, just as he had. At that moment, the morning star rose in the sky. Light filled the forest. The world had changed, though no one knew it yet. The prince who had walked away from comfort had now returned as a teacher, ready to light the path for all. Chapter 9. Sharing the Truth. The First Teachings. After becoming enlightened, the Buddha sat quietly under the Bodhi tree for several days. Not because he was unsure, but because he was thinking deeply. How could he explain something so big, so simple, yet so powerful? Would people understand it? Would they listen? Finally, he decided to share what he had found. Not to make followers, not to gain fame, but to help others free themselves from pain. He thought of the 5 ascetics he had trained with earlier. They were still living nearby. So, he got up and walked to find them. When they first saw him, they turned away. They thought he had given up the path when he accepted food from Sujata. But as he came closer, something was different. There was light in his eyes, peace in his steps. They sensed something had changed. The Buddha sat with them and spoke gently. He told them about the Four Noble Truths, that life includes suffering, that suffering comes from craving, that it can end, and that there is a path to end it. Then he shared the middle way, a balanced life, avoiding extremes, with mindfulness and compassion. His words were simple but powerful. And one by one, the ascetics began to understand. Their hearts opened. The first seeds of awakening were planted. That day became the beginning of the Sangha, the community of people who walk the path of truth. The Buddha had started his mission, not to rule people, but to free them. From a quiet forest, a voice of wisdom had begun to echo across the world. Chapter 10. The Four Noble Truths. Understanding Life's Reality. After his awakening, the Buddha wanted to explain what he had discovered in a way that everyone could understand. He taught what became known as the Four Noble Truths. These truths are the foundation of his teaching and help us see life clearly. The first truth is that life includes suffering. Everyone experiences pain, whether it is sadness, illness, loss, or disappointment. This suffering is a natural part of living, and no one can avoid it. The second truth is about the cause of suffering. It comes from craving or wanting things to be different. We suffer because we want to hold on to pleasure, avoid pain, or keep life the way we want it to be. But life is always changing, and wanting to control it only leads to more pain. The third truth is good news. Suffering can end. When we stop craving and accept life as it is, peace can grow inside us. This state of peace is called nirvana, a place beyond pain and fear. The fourth truth is the way to end suffering. It is called the Noble Eightfold Path. This path is a guide to living wisely and kindly. It teaches us to see clearly, act kindly, speak truthfully, work honestly, and train our minds with mindfulness and concentration. The Buddha said that by following this path, anyone can find freedom from suffering. It is not about belief but about experience, walking the path step by step. Chapter 11. The Noble Eightfold Path. A Guide to Freedom. The Noble Eightfold Path is like a map that guides us away from suffering toward peace and happiness. The Buddha divided it into 8 parts, but they all work together as one. The first 2 are about wisdom. Right understanding means seeing life as it really is, accepting the Four Noble Truths. Right intention means choosing kindness, truth, and letting go of anger and cruelty. The next 3 are about actions. Right speech means speaking truthfully and kindly, avoiding lies or harsh words. Right action means behaving in ways that don't hurt others. Right livelihood means earning a living honestly and without harm. The last 3 are about training the mind. Right effort means trying to develop good habits and let go of harmful ones. Right mindfulness means paying close attention to our thoughts, feelings, and body without judgment. Right concentration means focusing the mind deeply, often through meditation. This path is called the middle way because it avoids both selfish indulgence and harsh self-denial. It is a balanced way of living that helps us grow and heal. The Buddha encouraged everyone to walk this path in their own way and own time. It is not a race but a journey of discovery. Chapter 12. The First Disciples. Building the Sangha. After teaching the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, the Buddha's message began to spread. The 5 ascetics who had once doubted him became his first disciples. They were deeply moved by his wisdom and kindness. They accepted his teaching and promised to follow the path. These first followers formed the beginning of the Sangha, the community of those who practiced the Buddha's way. The Sangha grew as more people, monks, nuns, and lay followers, joined in. Together, they supported each other in living mindfully, practicing compassion, and seeking enlightenment. The Buddha did not want to create a religion with strict rules, but a community where people could share their journey. He welcomed everyone, rich or poor, young or old, no matter their background. He traveled from village to village, teaching in simple language so all could understand. His stories and teachings inspired many, and soon, a movement began that would spread across the world. The Buddha's life was not just about his own awakening, but about helping others find their own light in the darkness. Chapter 13. The teachings spread, traveling and teaching. After forming the Sangha, the Buddha began traveling across towns and villages. He didn't stay in one place but moved around to reach as many people as possible. Wherever he went, he shared his teachings with kindness and patience. He spoke in simple words so everyone could understand, whether they were kings, farmers, or merchants. The Buddha told stories and used examples from everyday life to explain his ideas. He showed that anyone could follow the path to freedom if they were willing to try. People were drawn to his calm and gentle way of teaching. Many left their old lives behind to join the Sangha and learn more. He taught that kindness and compassion should guide all actions. He encouraged people to live honestly and respect all living beings. His message was about finding peace inside, no matter the outside world. As his followers grew, the Buddha helped them face challenges and questions. He reminded them that the path was personal and sometimes difficult, but the reward was great: true freedom from suffering. The Buddha's teachings were simple but deep, and slowly, they began to change the hearts and minds of many. Chapter 14: Compassion and Mindfulness, Keys to a Good Life. Two important ideas the Buddha taught were compassion and mindfulness. Compassion means caring for others and wishing them to be happy and free from pain. The Buddha showed that when we are kind to others, we also find peace in ourselves. He said that helping others is one of the greatest ways to live. Mindfulness means paying close attention to the present moment. Instead of worrying about the past or the future, mindfulness invites us to notice what is happening right now, our thoughts, feelings, and actions. This helps us understand ourselves better and make wiser choices. The Buddha taught his followers to practice mindfulness in every part of life, while eating, walking, or even talking. Mindfulness is like a light that helps us see clearly, so we don't get lost in anger or fear. By living with compassion and mindfulness, the Buddha showed that anyone could bring more happiness into their lives and the lives of others. These teachings are still powerful today, helping millions find calm in a busy world. Chapter 15: Challenges and Wisdom, Facing Life's Difficulties. Even after enlightenment, the Buddha knew that life was not always easy. He taught that challenges and difficulties are part of the human experience. Instead of running away or feeling defeated, he encouraged facing problems with courage and wisdom. He explained that pain and struggle can teach us important lessons. When we face hardship with an open heart and clear mind, we grow stronger and wiser. This does not mean ignoring pain but learning from it without being overwhelmed. The Buddha also warned against falling into traps like anger, jealousy, and greed, which only create more suffering. Instead, he showed that patience, understanding, and forgiveness can help heal difficult situations. He reminded his followers that the path to peace is a daily practice. Some days will be easier, some harder. The key is to keep moving forward with kindness, to oneself and others. Through his own example and teachings, the Buddha showed that wisdom and compassion together can turn life's challenges into steps on the path to freedom. Chapter 16: The Buddha's Daily Life, a Simple Example. Even though the Buddha was a great teacher, he lived a very simple life. He did not want luxury or power. Instead, he focused on what really mattered: peace, kindness, and helping others. Each day, the Buddha woke early, often before sunrise. He meditated to calm his mind and deepen his understanding. Then he would walk through villages, talking to people and answering their questions. Sometimes he rested or ate a simple meal, usually food given by his followers. He wore plain robes and lived with his small community of monks and nuns. They shared everything, supporting one another in their practice. The Buddha showed that a simple life, full of meaning and care, is better than chasing after wealth or fame. He believed that true happiness comes from within, not from things outside. By living as an example, he inspired many to change their lives. His daily habits of mindfulness and compassion became a model for all who wanted to follow his path. Chapter 17: Stories and Parables, Teaching Through Simple Truths. The Buddha often used stories and parables to teach important lessons. These stories were easy to remember and full of meaning. They helped people understand deep truths in a simple way. One famous story is about a man who was angry at a neighbor. The Buddha explained that holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal. It burns you more than anyone else. Letting go of anger brings peace. Another story teaches about patience. A tiny seed, when cared for with time and care, grows into a strong tree. Similarly, patience and effort help a person grow wise and kind. Through these stories, the Buddha showed that everyone can learn and change. Wisdom is not just for scholars but for anyone willing to listen and reflect. His gentle way of teaching made difficult ideas easier to accept and follow. Even today, these stories continue to inspire people worldwide. Chapter 18, Legacy of the Buddha, a light that still shines. The Buddha's life and teachings created a light that has never gone out. After his death, his followers continued sharing his message, building temples and communities called monasteries. Over time, Buddhism spread to many countries and touched millions of lives. What makes the Buddha's legacy so powerful is that his message is simple and true for all times. It teaches us how to live with kindness, wisdom, and peace, no matter where or when we are born. His ideas about compassion, mindfulness, and the middle way remain important today. They offer a path to face modern challenges like stress, fear, and division. The Buddha showed that anyone can awaken to truth and live a meaningful life. His journey from a prince to the awakened one reminds us all that the greatest treasure is understanding ourselves and helping others. His story continues to inspire people to seek peace, kindness, and freedom every day. Chapter 19, Applying Buddha's Wisdom to Today's World. In today's fast-paced world, many face challenges that can feel overwhelming: stress, loneliness, health issues, and a sense of disconnection. Yet, the timeless wisdom of the Buddha offers practical solutions to these modern struggles. Let's explore how his teachings can guide us through life's difficulties. 1. Managing stress and anxiety. Modern life often brings stress and anxiety. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from our attachments and desires. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on the present moment, we can reduce stress. Techniques like meditation and deep breathing help calm the mind and bring clarity. 2. Overcoming loneliness. Loneliness is a growing concern, especially in urban settings. The Buddha emphasized the importance of community and compassion. By engaging in acts of kindness and building meaningful relationships, we can combat feelings of isolation. Joining groups that share our interests or volunteering can also create connections. 3. Coping with health challenges. Chronic illnesses and health issues can be daunting. The Buddha's teachings encourage acceptance and understanding. By embracing our circumstances without resistance, we can find peace. Practices like meditation can also alleviate pain and improve overall well-being. 4. Finding purpose in life. Many people struggle with finding meaning in their daily routines. The Buddha advised living with intention and purpose. By aligning our actions with our values and focusing on what truly matters, we can lead fulfilling lives. Setting small, achievable goals can also provide a sense of direction. 5. Dealing with loss and grief. Loss is an inevitable part of life. The Buddha taught that everything is impermanent. Understanding this can help us navigate grief. Embracing our emotions, seeking support, and allowing ourselves time to heal are essential steps in the grieving process. 6. Managing work-life balance. The pressure to succeed can lead to burnout. The Buddha advocated for the middle way, a balanced approach to life. By setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and avoiding extremes, we can achieve a healthier work-life balance. 7. Addressing social injustice. Inequality and injustice are prevalent in society. The Buddha promoted compassion and fairness. Standing up for others, supporting equitable causes, and treating everyone with respect are ways we can contribute to a more just world. 8. Cultivating inner peace. Inner peace is essential for overall happiness. The Buddha taught that peace comes from within. Through practices like meditation, self-reflection, and letting go of negative emotions, we can cultivate a calm and peaceful mind. 9. Developing emotional resilience. Life's challenges can test our emotional strength. The Buddha encouraged developing resilience by understanding the nature of suffering and impermanence. By accepting change and learning from experiences, we can build emotional fortitude. 10. Embracing simplicity. In a world filled with distractions, simplicity can bring clarity. The Buddha lived a simple life, free from unnecessary possessions and desires. By focusing on what is truly important and letting go of excess, we can find contentment. Incorporating these Buddhist principles into our daily lives can help us navigate the complexities of the modern world with grace and wisdom. By practicing mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance, we can find peace amidst the chaos and lead lives filled with purpose and joy.